Let's react.
This is a song that changed everything. You see, you don't even need the chorus, you don't need the video. Those first few seconds already put you somewhere. Bright, clean, 80s energy, and that's the blessing. And also the problem, because when you're AHA and you release a song like that as your breakout hit single, you don't just get famous, you get frozen in time. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a you made something too iconic kind of way. Let's just say it straight. Take On Me is one of those songs. Not a good song, not a big hit. One of those songs, the kind where your brain knows it before your mouth does. The kind where the high note feels impossible and then somehow still happens. The kind where even people who say they don't like the 80s music, they still know every word. That's not normal. That's lightning. But here's what happens when lightning strikes that hard. Everything else gets compared to it. Not because the other songs aren't good, but because that one is everywhere. Radio, movies, memes, TV, retro playlists, TikTok, gym playlist, weddings, DJ weddings, you can't escape it. And because you can't escape it, people assume that that's all there is. And that's where it gets unfair, because AHA didn't stop at Take On Me. Not even close. They kept writing, they kept evolving, they kept growing. But most people never followed past the first chapter. Let's talk about something important. Take On Me wasn't even an overnight success. It took multiple versions, multiple attempts, different recordings, and different pushes. The band didn't just stumble onto a hit. They worked hard at it. And when it finally hit, it exploded. But when something explodes that big, it leaves a big shadow. Now, here's the thing I love about AHA. They didn't chase Take On Me forever. They didn't spend 30 years trying to rewrite it. They didn't become a parody of themselves. They actually went darker, moodier, more reflective. Listen to The Sun Always Shines on TV.
These days, touch me. How can it be?
Touch me. That's not bubblegum. That's dramatic. That's emotional. That's depth. And it was on the same album. So even from the beginning, there was more going on with AHA. And then you get into songs like Hunting High and Low. I'll be hunting high and low.
Hunting high and low.
That's vulnerability. That is space. That's almost cinematic. But most casual listeners never went there. They stayed at the cartoon video. And let's talk about that video. Because yes, it's iconic. The pencil sketch thing, revolutionary, groundbreaking.
Take on me, take on me, take me on.
MTV absolutely loved it. And once MTV loved something in the 80s, that's it. You're stamped. But here's the side effect. People start remembering the video more than the band. And that's wild when you think about it. Because the band kept evolving, but the image stayed frozen. Another thing, that high note, the one, I'm not even going to try it, but everyone talks about it. And yes, Morten Harket, he hit that note live for years, which is ridiculous, by the way. But because that note is so famous, people reduce him to that. The guy who sings high. But if you actually listen to later AHA songs, you hear control, restraint, depth, emotion. He's not just singing high, he's storytelling. But storytelling doesn't trend like a viral high tone or high note. And here's something funny. In Europe, AHA are not a one-hit wonder. Not even close. They have chart history. They have deep fan bases. Even in England, they have albums that mean a lot to people. But in certain places, especially the US, they became the Take On Me band. And once that label sticks, it's hard to shake, even if you don't deserve it. Now, let's flip it. Is it really a bad thing to be remembered for one of the most perfect pop songs ever written? Not really. Most artists will beg for that problem. The real issue isn't that Take On Me exists, it's that it's too good at being iconic. It overshadows quietly, not aggressively, just constantly. And Aha didn't quit. They didn't disappear. They didn't fall apart. They kept making records. They matured. The sound shifted. Less bright, more thoughtful. If you listen to later albums, you hear grown men, not 80s neon pop stars. But that evolution doesn't get relayed on retro radio. Only the first spark does. Let's talk about the emotional side. When people discover Aha beyond Take On Me, they're often surprised. They'll say things like, "This is the same band?" Yeah, it is. But you've never stayed long enough to find out what more these guys could do. That's not the band's fault, though. That's what happens when your first global hit is that explosive. There's also something else: timing. The mid-80s were bright, visual, flashy. Take On Me fit that perfectly. But Aha, as artists, were always slightly more introspective than the image suggested. So when trends shifted, they didn't collapse, they adjusted. But public memory didn't adjust with them. It stayed parked in 1985. And that's the interesting part. The song didn't trap them. Public memory did. Because public memory loves simple narratives. Band with huge 80s hit. That's easy. Band with a huge 80s hit who evolved into mature, emotionally layered group over decades. That requires attention. And attention spans don't always cooperate. I don't think Take On Me hurt Aha. I think it made them immortal. But immortality can come with one snapshot attached. And sometimes the snapshot hides the rest of the album. When you look at the band now, older, calmer, still performing, there's dignity there. There's pride. They're not running from the song. They're playing it. They respect it. They understand what it did for them. But they also know there's more. I actually heard a version of the song being done live, and it was incredible. They did a slowed down version of it, and Morten Hackett, the singer, he was absolutely incredible. The audience went crazy. Give them a huge standing ovation.
Take on me, take me on.
So as I said, they play the song, they respect it. They do understand what it did for them. But they also know that there's more, and real fans know that too. And maybe that's the point. The casual world might know Take On Me, but the fans know Hunting High and Low. They know the sun always shines on TV. They know the deeper cuts. And that's enough. Because being misunderstood publicly doesn't erase private loyalty. So when people say Aha were overshadowed by one song, maybe they were. But what a song to be overshadowed by. It's not some throwaway novelty. It's a masterpiece. And if you're going to have one moment define you forever, let it be the one that still makes people feel something. Let it be the one that still fills rooms. Let it be the one that still works 40 years later. Take On Me didn't shrink Aha. It magnified them so brightly that the rest of the catalogue became softer in comparison. That's not failure. That's contrast. And honestly, every time that synth starts, I still smile, not because it's nostalgia, but because it's a reminder of what happens when talent, timing, and effort line up perfectly. Aha didn't get trapped by one song, in my opinion. They just wrote one that was too unforgettable. And sometimes that's a beautiful problem to have. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you go and play Aha after this. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give the video a big like for me. And once again, don't forget to check out our membership. It enables you to like help determine what stuff we do next. And there are other perks too. My name is Harry. Take care, stay cool, stay good, and stay beautiful in your heart and soul. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.